Lake Bonneville, a massive prehistoric lake, is now a series of beautiful valleys. Join Brandon Plewe and me, his son Spencer, as we hike the 200-mile length of the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. Discover its rich history, plan for its completion, and explore its state today.
Hey trail fans, you'll notice we are not hiking at the moment. Today we are in the northern end of Brigham City. If you remember from last time, the trail was fenced off. In fact, the next 30 or 40 miles of potential trail, there's no long stretches that we can actually hike. Today we're going to do things a little differently. We're going to use the truck here and explore. We got Molly with us, and we're just going to see if we can find even any small stretches of potential trail that we might be able to access. So let's see what we can find. So here in northern Box Elder County, there's a couple of unique challenges. One is that there's just not a lot of people up here. So there's not a lot of potential recreation users who would demand that the trail be built and who would use it and maintain it once it was built. The other challenge is between the highway here and the mountain, a pretty wide swath of private property with very few roads going up there. So just getting to the foothills is a challenge in many places. So it's definitely one of the lower priorities along the length of the potential trail. Here in Honeyville, they just finished revising their general plan, and as they were going through that process, some the residents and government leaders were really eager to have trails like the Bonneville Shoreline Trail be part of that plan. But the residents overall were kind of cool to it, didn't see a lot of the point to it. So it wasn't included in the final general plan. There is actually up here above Honeyville a lot of Forest Service and State Wildlife Management area land. So there's a pretty good potential for there to be a trail. In fact, I think there's an old ATV track that goes right along the bench. But getting to it is going to be a bit of trouble. Oh, so now that actually says trailhead parking, 1.5 miles. Pretty area up here. It's interesting. This road is actually not too bad, and then there's a giant hole. And then it's not too bad, and there's a giant hole. Try not to get us a flat tire here. I should probably switch this into 4-wheel drive. Glad we didn't have the car. Wally, what do you think of that dog? Let's see what we got here. Well, it was a bear getting up here. I don't advise it to anybody. What we've actually just been driving on for a little bit here is actually an old road that goes right along the bench. I mean, we're right here on the Bonneville bench, and it goes, probably about 3 miles that way, it looks like, on the state land and then on Forest Service land for a while before it hits private property. Going the other direction over here, this road actually continues for like 10 miles, but it goes through a ranch, and as soon as we leave the wildlife management area, it's gated, no trespassing signs. All in all, between there and when it hits private property that way, there's about 3, maybe 4 miles of double track here that could be the Bonneville Shoreline Trail, but I wouldn't designate it anytime soon. It's an isolated stretch, it's hard to get to, not gonna get a whole lot of usage, even if it was designated. Boy, it's beautiful country up here. Really nice view of the countryside and the mountains. So, great place to come. Those challenges that I mentioned earlier about building the trail here in northern Box Elder County, nowhere is that stronger than here at the very northern end of the Wellsville Mountains, where we're wrapping around to go into Cache County. Beautiful country, but the Forest Service doesn't start until way up in the mountains, and all of these foothills where the trail would be is all 1 or 2 big ranches. You can't get anywhere near the mountains in this area, so I don't know if this will ever be built. There's just not a lot of demand and not a lot of opportunity to ever put the trail in this area, so there might just always be a gap in this area. We'll see. Well, here at Deep Canyon, west of Mendon, is supposed to be the main trailhead for kind of the north end of the Wellsville Mountains and getting onto the Bonneville Shoreline Trail where they want to put it. But the road is really bad, and it has been for many years. Mendon City just said, we can't support this. People get stuck on this road all the time, so they've actually closed off the road here. And then they got a grant recently to improve this road and build a really nice trailhead up there. But for some reason it's been held up. They're still talking about it, but it hasn't been done yet. So for now, it's still closed off. The city actually has on their own property up in here in these foothills, a nice little trail system that could become part of the Bonneville Shoreline Trail for heading further south. But for now, it's all closed off. So I guess we will continue searching further south. Going south from here to Wellsville for the next several miles is more of a challenge. Here on my right is all Forest Service, but it's all wilderness area. So that has the standard challenges of it's harder to build the trail and you can't have bikes on it. Below that, the county trail planners are working with the private landowners to see if there might be a way that they could get the trail built through there. I think some of the landowners are amenable to it. Some of them are not, so it's an ongoing negotiation, but still early days. It's a lot more work to do in this area. Well, in a lot of these situations we've seen where there's a potentially seemingly intractable problem with the trail route, it's sometimes good to have a backup plan. Here between Mendon and Wellsville, one option is to eventually pipe this canal that goes between the two towns and actually much further in both directions, and have that be the trail, have a paved trail, which happens a lot along these canals nowadays. Probably a very expensive solution, but they kind of want to have that trail anyway. So that could be the Bonneville Shoreline Trail if they can't get a better option up in the hills. Well, we finally found a place where Molly could get out and go hiking here in Wellsville. Fortunately, we're joined by a couple of my new friends here. This is Mandie Gochner
Yes.
and Scot Weaver. They're both residents here of Wellsville who have been very enthusiastic about trails and have done a lot of work to try to get more trails improved here in Wellsville. So let's go kind of see what you got out here. I'm very impressed by this brand new trailhead here. That must have been some work to get that done.
It was, and a lot of years to make it happen as well. Just a couple of years ago, we had a grand opening here with the county executive and a number of interested parties for the trails, and the family generously turned the property over to make it available for recreation in perpetuity.
Farm owners like that better than people just parking down in their farm parking lot.
I'm sure that's true. So we can make a choice here. This is basically an old, overgrown road. It's more weeds and stuff. I think this way is a little prettier. They both will get us to the same point.
Let's go that way then.
All right.
Monica caught up with us. Brandon, this is Monica. Monica, this is Brandon.
Hi, Monica.
Nice to meet you.
So you're another member of the local trails committee here.
Yeah, the Cache Valley Trails Committee for the south end of the valley.
How did you get the actual trails committee started?
There's actually no continuous sidewalk or trail going from Wellsville to Hiram. So that area includes our local junior high and high school. And there's no way for those students to get to school if they wanted
Get across the valley.
Right, unless they're on roads with cars. I'm passionate about getting people out on trails. It was about 4 years ago. The Cache Valley was doing a county-wide survey, and so I started going door to door in Wellsville, asking people to get on there and post comments like, yeah, we want trails out here. Everybody except for one person was supportive of trails, and that's when I met Monica, and I formed the South Cache Trails Committee. Then I was put in touch with a couple other community members, including Scot, and from then on, we worked with Carly and Taylor. Taylor was a grad student at Utah State, and she took on as her master's thesis the project of updating Wellsville's active transportation plan.
Which is something a lot of cities are trying to do these days.
Yes, yes. And it's a great step forward. So that's something that we're currently working on to get it passed through planning and zoning with Wellsville City.
It's a long process.
Yes. We also ended up doing another survey, and we had the residents of Wellsville respond to this survey, and anyone else who wanted to, really, about trails in the area. And the number one request was the Bonneville Shoreline Trail.
On our travels today, one of the places we stopped was down there at the Wellsville Mendon Canal. On the county's plan, they show that as also a potential trail. What's the status of that?
We would love to see that made into a usable trail. Several years ago, I used to run that all the time between Wellsville and Mendon. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, they put up signs that said U.S. government property, no trespassing.
Do they have plans to pipe it?
It's supposed to be like in the next 3 to 5 years. They're planning on piping it to retain loss of water.
And we did meet with the canal company last spring, I believe it was, because they did get some funding to start the process of enclosing the canal. Yes. And so they completed, I believe, phase 1, which was to line the canal. And they're in phase 2, which is, I'm not sure the details of that, but the county trails coordinator did meet with the canal company and presented the possibility of making that be a trail when it is enclosed. And so the discussion has been started.
It's a long process.
Yes.
I'm kind of in your shoes. I'm not a government person. I'm a interested citizen. And it can be a frustrating process as a regular person trying to get something done.
Well, it falls under the WIP, the work in progress.
Well, it looks like you've all been working really hard on trying to get some of this stuff done.
Yeah, we're trying. We're passionate about it and willing to do the work and add support wherever we can.
And even though it is a long process, it's exciting and encouraging to see progress.
Well, and just your existing trails, these existing trails are better than they have been improved, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
When we collaborate with all kinds of different people and organizations, we can really do some great things. And we're not out here trying to use eminent domain over someone's private property. We're just out here wanting to, be curious, ask questions, work together, help bring trails to the members of this community that we all love so much. Even with the trails here in our backyard, we become like stewards over those trails.
Oh, absolutely.
We want to take care of it. We want to keep it beautiful. There's a lot of people willing to do that, including our local scout troop.
It's often hard to get.
You okay?
Right.
You can keep that, Spence.
Dangerous.
Now, where was I?
It's often hard to get.
Yeah, it's often hard to get to recruit people to do major work. But you can get them started with here's something small you can do.
Yeah, you got to start somewhere.
Keep this trail pruned, and then that gets them interested in doing something more. So what we've done so far here, if it wasn't for the snow, would be a great Bonneville Shoreline Trail. Pretty level right along the Bonneville bench. Oh, we're running out of tracks here. So I think we'll turn around here. But what happens ahead of us here?
We've come just over a mile from the trailhead, and we're almost to the base of Wide Canyon. You just continue through the meadow and down to those trees there. Then it kind of splits. If you go to the left, then it goes up Wide Canyon. It connects to Rattlesnake Trail, and you can go to the top of the Wellsville Mountains, as well as back to Narrow Canyon.
Okay.
To the right, there's little bits of discontinuous trail, but unfortunately, there's no easy, continuous way to continue on.
We hit private property pretty soon there, don't we?
You do hit private property. There's, fields and farms, and you can make it through there, but it's just not as nice as it could be.
So it's gonna take some work. So
Yeah.
Not as open and easily accessible.
this is a good potential to start the trail.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Well, Molly wants to go home, so let's head back.
Alrighty.
Let's do it.
Oh, we finally made it. That was quite an adventure. Thank you all so much for coming out and doing this, especially because the conditions weren't quite what I had hoped for. But thanks for coming out today.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming up to see our backyard. We appreciate it.
Well, and thank you for all the hard work the three of you are doing here in Wellsville to try and get things going. I know it's a long, sometimes frustrating process as a citizen to get things done.
You help put a spotlight on it that helps get the information out there.
Well, we hope it'll help. Spencer and I are going to go up here and look a little further south and see what we can find, but hopefully we'll keep in touch and we'll see good progress up here.
Sounds good.
Absolutely.
Have a great evening. Well, this is getting to be a kind of an old story. I was kind of hoping we would get up onto that ridge there. We could get a better view to end our episode today, but this'll do. We can't really go much further than this anyway. The highway's right there. And then beyond that, you can kind of see the hills out there at the south end of the valley. And those hills are just all miles and miles of private property. In fact, the county in their master trails plan, hasn't even planned a potential route even for the Bonneville Shoreline Trail down there. We'll have to just cross over to the other side of Cache Valley, over there to Hiram, and pick up the trail over there. And there's a good trail we will follow going up to Logan. So we'll see you over there.